Ooh-wee, okay. Welcome to a new episode of Nate's MMA Corner, and if you watch my show, you're in my corner. Okay, so today's episode is a post-fight show for UFC Fight Night. Nate Marquardt versus James Huna in a middleweight clash of the ages. From New Zealand. Yeah. So, this was on UFC Fight Pass. It was amazing fight card, top to bottom. The prelims are all pretty awesome. The main card matches were insanely awesome, and yeah, just exciting match. And so this is a post-fight wrap-up show for this main card, and let's get started with the main event, which was Nate Marquardt versus James Huna, middleweight clash, 5-rounder, but we didn't need 5 rounds. This lasted just within the first round. Yeah, Nate Marquardt, he won by submission armbar, and he was pouncing on James Huna from the get-go. He landed some good strikes. It was pretty much good boxing from Nate Marquardt, and then he was able to drop James Huna and get him on the ground, and then wrap his legs around him and get that armbar. And yeah, it was 4 minutes and 34 seconds into the first round, and it was a great win for Nate Marquardt, who's back at middleweight where he belongs after his stint in welterweight, which was, lackluster, as some people would say. But he's at middleweight again, and it's great to see him back, and it's great to see him back in the win column after coming off a couple losses in the UFC. So, good job, Nate Marquardt and James Huna. Hope to see you again in the UFC. I'm a big James Huna fan too. He always has really good entrances. His entrance to the octagon was some New Zealand national thing with the dancers. It was really fun. If you haven't seen it, yeah, check it out on Fight Pass, UFC Fight Pass. It was great fight. Yeah, then the co-main event was Jared Rosholt versus Soa Palele in a heavyweight clash of the Titans. Yeah, decision unanimous for Jared Rosholt. Yeah, Jared Rosholt, he really used his wrestling game and good heavy hands. He's not the quickest striker in the heavyweight division, but he has heavy hands, and he knows how to rock his opponents and take advantage after they're rocked with his heavy hands, and use his top-notch wrestling. And he did a great job getting dominant positions throughout all 3 rounds, and cleanly won all 3 rounds. And I believe he's on a 3-fight win streak right now. He's looking great. Yeah, Jared Rosholt, he's a guy I will be keeping my eyes out on. He's definitely a prospect in the heavyweight division. So is Soa Palele. I mean, he lost, but he was coming off several wins before this loss, so Soa could easily get back on track. And this is his second stint in the UFC, I believe. Yeah, so it was a great heavyweight clash. And that was a decision unanimous for Jared Rosholt. Then, in the featherweight division, we had Charles Oliveira versus Hatsu Aoki. That was anaconda choke, second round. Yeah, it was a good back and forth brawl in the jiu-jitsu game in the first round. Charles Oliveira, though, he has killer jiu-jitsu skills, and he's hard to submit, and Aoki was really using his killer jiu-jitsu skills as much as he possibly could, but it wasn't on the level of Charles Oliveira. Charles Oliveira, he loves to submit. He's not a knockout artist. That's not his specialty. And Charles Oliveira is a smart, technical fighter on the ground, and he's had some big fights, with the exception of a couple losses to Frankie Edgar and Cub Swanson. He's looked pretty good. And yeah, Charles Oliveira, he's back in that. He's back on track, and this is a good win for him. Then, to kick off the main card, we had a welterweight clash with Robert Whittaker and Mike Rhodes. Yeah, Robert Whittaker, He's Ultimate Fighter Smashes winner, and he's lost his last couple matches, and this was one of those. He definitely needed the win. I was kind of thinking Mike Rhodes might win this, because Mike Rhodes, I believe he's with the Duke Rufus camp, and he's a top prospect to look out for at welterweight, and he had some hype. But Robert Whittaker, he put on a striking clinic, and he won by unanimous decision, and it was a good win for Robert Whittaker. He needed it, because if he had 3 losses in a row, who knows what they might have done with him. I think they would have given him one more chance, and then after that, he might have got cut, but it's not something you want to put to the test. Yeah, so that sums up the main card for UFC Fight Night, Nate Marquardt versus James Huna. And yeah, it was a great fight card top to bottom. If you haven't seen it, watch all the prelims, watch the main card. There was 4 killer main card matches and 6 great prelim matches on this. And until then, see ya. Oh, and stay tuned for my next episode, which will be about Cub Swanson and Jeremy Stephens Fight Night. So until then, see ya.